You've heard of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Maybe you've read it. Maybe someone told you it was banned. But here's what nobody's telling you. Hidden inside those 48 laws are truths about power dynamics between men and women. Truths the modern world desperately wants to suppress. These aren't laws written to hurt anyone. They're observations. Cold, historical, psychological facts about how power actually works. And when you apply them to relationships, everything changes. Stay until Law 38, because that one will completely rewire how you see attraction, control, and social dynamics forever. Let's get into it. Law 1 says, never outshine the master. Robert Greene observed something that psychologists have confirmed for decades. People in positions of authority feel threatened when someone below them shines brighter. In relationships, this plays out in a subtle but powerful way. When a person constantly needs to one-up their partner, dominate every conversation, or make themselves the star of every room, they don't become more attractive. They become exhausting. The truth, strategic restraint, is a form of power. Knowing when not to show your hand is magnetic. The most compelling people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who make you feel seen, a lesson both men and women should internalize. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. Greene argued that everything is judged by its appearance. Presence is power. In dating and social dynamics, the person who controls attention controls the frame. Women who master genuine, grounded presence are powerful. And men who understand this stop chasing attention and start commanding it. The dangerous mistake is confusing attention, seeking with attraction. One is reactive, the other is magnetic. But Law 16. This one hits differently. It's the more you are seen and heard, the more common you appear. Create value through scarcity. In relationships, this is one of the most misunderstood dynamics alive. The person who is always available, always responsive, always there, loses perceived value over time. Not because they're less worthy, but because human psychology is hardwired to value what is scarce. This isn't manipulation. This is biology. The partner who has a full life, purpose, passion, friendships, and doesn't need to be constantly present is infinitely more attractive than one who is always waiting. Absence, used wisely, doesn't push people away. It pulls them in. Law 24. Master the art of social grace. Greene talks about the perfect courtier, someone who adapts, charms, reads the room, and never loses composure. In the real world, this is emotional intelligence weaponized. The person who can navigate any social situation with grace, warmth, and controlled confidence doesn't just attract people, they keep them. And here's the truth. Modern culture is afraid to say out loud the ability to make someone feel special, genuinely, authentically, is one of the most powerful skills. It has nothing to do with gender, everything to do with mastery. Law 33. Find the weakness, the emotional need, and understand it. Greene was blunt. Everyone has a need, an insecurity, a craving for validation. Those who understand this have an enormous advantage. In relationships, this is called empathy with awareness. The people who last aren't just emotionally available, they're emotionally intelligent. They understand what their partner actually needs, not just what they say they need. The dark side of this law, when it's used to manipulate, the light side. When it's used to deeply connect, the choice between those two paths says everything about your character. And here it is. Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. On the surface, this sounds like advice to be fake, to conform, to suppress who you are. But here's what Greene was actually saying, and this is the part they don't want you to understand. The most powerful people in history had radical inner worlds, unconventional beliefs, contrarian thinking, deep truths. They'd discovered through pain and experience, but they were wise enough to know that flaunting those beliefs in the wrong company is social suicide. Now apply this to modern dating and relationships. There's an entire cultural conversation right now about what women want, what men want. And social media will tell you that radical authenticity, broadcasting every thought, every trauma, every boundary, is the highest form of self-expression. Greene would disagree, and so does the data. The most genuinely attractive people know the difference between authentic depth and unnecessary exposure. They have strong inner lives, strong values, strong opinions. but they choose carefully who gets access to those layers. Mystery is not manipulation. Privacy is not deception. Depth that's slowly revealed is infinitely more compelling than everything laid out on the first date. Law 38 isn't telling you to be fake, it's telling you to be wise. And in a world where everyone is an open book by default, the person who controls their narrative becomes unforgettable. Law 43. Win hearts and minds, not just compliance. Greene understood that force creates resistance, but inspiration creates loyalty. This might be the most underrated law in the entire book. When it comes to relationships, the person who inspires their partner, who makes them feel capable, seen, valued, builds a bond that no external force can break. Contrast that with the person who controls through guilt, jealousy, or emotional leverage. They may win battles, but they always lose the war. True power in relationships isn't dominance, it's indispensability. It's being the person someone chooses every single day because life is better with you in it. The 48 laws of power were written to be uncomfortable, to show you how the world actually works beneath the surface, behind closed doors. In the unspoken dynamics of every human interaction, some people call it manipulation, others call it awareness. The difference is in how you use it. If you walked away from this video understanding that presence, scarcity, mystery, empathy, and emotional intelligence are not tricks, they're skills, then Greene's work did exactly what it was supposed to do. Drop a comment below. Which law hit hardest for you? And if this video made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.